Let's go for a ride on the RTR. What do you guys think about the new look? I really dig it. So that is our new graphics kit for the RTR. So this is an RTR Lite. It's been converted over to 72 volts. And it now has the big wheel kit on it from Electro & Co. So this controller has not been programmed, so it doesn't have the power that an RTR does. As an example, we have a regular RTR over here, and they do have more punch when they come from the factory. So as an RTR, not a Lite at 72 volts, it's going to have more punch, more power than a converted RTR Lite wheel with just the battery. But that's all about to be remedied, because we will be putting a 6.7 kit in this bike here real soon. We're gonna go for a quick ride, and in today's video, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the RTR and compare it to the Altus. Now, we kind of did that last time, but we did it backwards. She's gonna be riding the Moto Tech. That's actually a Cruise. I think they're pretty much the same thing. So, right off the rip, I'll go ahead and tell you, this bike does not have the power, does not have the punch of the Altus. But there again, this started life as a regular RTR Lite. All right, Memphis, you ready? All right, let's go. You want to race? Let's race. I bet you that's as fast as this. All right, you ready? Go. Go. Look at that. So. If that doesn't tell you something, then I don't know what does. First off, the big wheels are killing this bike. So the big wheel kit, yeah, that's a lot for this setup right here. So that's I mean, that thing's a 60 volt, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's supposed to run like 35 or 40, but come on now. It took forever to come around her. With that being said, that leads us into a lot of discussion between which bike to buy. Because I think a lot of you guys that are interested in the RTR may be interested in the Delta. Here's the deal. The freaking RTR is loud, as you can hear. This thing screams at you. That is my biggest complaint. Outside of that, everything that I'm going to tell you guys can be fixed. Full throttle. We're in mode 3, as you can see right here. Full throttle. It picks the front wheel up about 4 inches. Here we go. Back to my spot. This is where I like to sit and contemplate things. So before we get too deep into this video and I forget what I want to talk about, I want to mention to you guys basically the biggest difference between these bikes. One thing is power. There is a massive difference between power in this, even in an RTR, and the Delta. The other thing is the sound of this bike. The sound of this bike absolutely drives me insane. It is so loud. With those things said, I think most people would assume that this is not a good bike. Oh no, this is actually an extremely good bike. I've had comments say that, well, the Altus is built better. Not necessarily. I think there may be some components on the Altus that's a little nicer, but at the same time, the RTR is smooth. You want to talk about throttle control? Oh my God, this thing is money. This is how they should all be tuned. Can it use more power? Sure. But this is how they should be tuned. There is no, look at that. This thing is exactly what you would want one to be. Now, when we put the 6.7 kit on this bike, we're still going to be using the factory battery. I will eventually upgrade to the mod battery on it. Something in the last video that I talked about that was extremely annoying with the Delta was the fact that it leans over so far. I now know why the Delta leans over as far as it does. And I think it's due to the fact that these bikes were never meant to have these big wheels. I don't think the Delta was going to have the big wheel kit on it. They added it. And the reason why I say that is because this bike leans over the exact same way now that we've put the big wheel kit on it. So, food for thought. Got the coups all cleaned up over here. Something else I want to mention to you guys is how to clean your e-bikes. Should you be putting water on them? Should you use a pressure washer? What chemicals to use? I highly recommend using a pressure washer. I've got just the one at the house, and I'll show it to you guys, and we'll do a video on how to detail and keep your e-bike clean. Once again, I am 5'8", about 180 pounds. I want you guys to pay attention to how I sit on this bike. Now, this is the big wheel kit, so the bike's going to sit up a little taller. It's not as roomy as the Delta is, but it's a very comfortable bike. So, if you're curious as to what you would look like, here you go. This bike is extremely good, has awesome throttle control. Look at this, y'all. Look at how I'm able to creep. A little more input, I can go a little faster. If the Delta had this ability with throttle control, oh my God, it'd be the perfect bike. All right, this is me standing up on the bike. This is way more uncomfortable of a riding position. So we do have high bars coming for this bike. When we install them, I do believe it's going to be a lot better. Berger's actually has high bars, so I know it's going to be better. All right. See, this bike just doesn't have the punch. While we're here, if this bike will stand up, no, it's gonna want to fall. See, this sucks. Okay. While we're here, I want to show you guys the Moto Tech. So, and the reason why I'm even mentioning this is because these bikes look like a big bike in the pictures. I really thought it was going to be the same size as the RTR. As you can see, it's not. Now, that does not mean that it's not a fun bike. This thing is very capable, but it is tiny. It fits her perfectly. But anyway, here's me riding a Moto Tech 60 volt. Now, throttle control on this thing is horrible. It's not so much down low, but see, it's got it. It's just, it's one of these things I can't explain to you. But anyway, this is me on the Moto Tech, or the coups, whatever you want to call it. Just know, if you're looking at these bikes, they're not as big as they look. It is an awesome looking bike. One of my favorite looking bikes that there is. So which bike should you buy when it comes to the RTR Lite, the new Sport, the Alpha? I can't speak on the new bikes that really haven't been released yet, but here's what I can tell you between the RTR and the RTR Lite. I wouldn't probably buy the Lite at this point. I bought the Lite because I was going to upgrade it to the 6.7 kit, and I knew that, so I didn't want to pay the extra money. But ultimately, I think the RTR itself is just a better bang for the buck, because I had to end up buying a battery, and I paid like 500 bucks for it on eBay. So because of that, I ended up with right at the same money I would have had in a regular RTR. Plus, I don't have the upgraded forks or the rear shock. So, and my controller is not tuned. So, if I had to tell you I would buy the regular RTR or the Sport or whatever it is, I'm not sure now, but as far as a trail machine goes, I don't think it gets any better than the RTR. I really don't. There's a lot of bikes that I haven't ridden, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But Electro & Co. really did a good job on designing this bike and everything about it. The biggest issue is just the noise of it, if I'm being honest. They can all be upgraded to 6.7, and I think with the 420 chain, they do quieten up quite a bit. So I'm probably going to do the 420 chain and that upgrade, and I think this will be the bike. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just flickable. It's easy. See, this thing can just creep up the hills just so easily. Look at that. Just barely give it any throttle and it goes up perfect. So I give you guys a full throttle pull on this and you'll see. Oh look, it come up. There we go. Memphis gets mad at me whenever I leave her. Here she comes. So one other thing with this particular e-bike, the brakes are not that great. I already need brake pads. You can see the play in there. I could probably bleed them, but the front brakes are pretty good. Rear brakes not the best. They will lock up, but you have to squeeze pretty hard. Moto Tech actually has really good brakes as well. Now, let's talk about the big wheel kit on this bike. How does it feel compared to the stock wheels and tires? A lot different and a lot better. This bike feels so much more capable now. Like there's really nothing that I'm scared to go through, go over. It feels right. This is a fun bike, y'all. I'm telling you, it's fun. I know I fuss about it some with the noise and everything else, but it is just a fun bike. I love it. And these tires. The tires on this bike are freaking phenomenal, man. They are knobby as hell. I really like the tires on the Delta. These are beefy. So we do have the thick chain on it. So that did help quieten it down some, but I want to see that bike with Supermotos on it. I bet you that thing would be nasty looking. The black Supermotos on it, ooh yeah. This bike just doesn't have the low end grunt. But it's still fun. It's extremely fun. They're gonna have to come out with an extended kickstand, or maybe one off of the XL or something would work, because this isn't working now with this bike as well. Or yeah, this thing just wants to fall over. Anyway, let's talk about the big wheel kit. How does it feel? The bike definitely feels taller, feels like it's more capable, can go over things. Little bumps and things like that don't really seem to affect it that much. It definitely makes the bike more top heavy, if you will, but I think it's a really good upgrade if you guys are in the dirt and on trails and stuff. If you ride a lot on the street, these are not the best. They're just so knobby that the bike is just very unstable on the street. But it does make it so much more capable out here riding around. You know, it may not be the fastest thing and it may not have the most low end and mid range, but what it does have is grunt. And it can find that grunt whenever it needs it. It just does. There again, I'm snatching on it and it's not wanting to come up. Let me get the camera down here a little more for you guys so you can see. I mean, it just doesn't want to come up. I suppose you guys want to see a top speed run on this bike. Now I have a clamp set up and I keep forgetting it, and I'm not going back to the house to get it. So we're going to do the same thing we did on the Delta. We're just going to hold the phone up here, go into GPS mode and see. was at 42, and it took forever to get there. The reason why it's not as fast as a regular RTR, even though we did put the battery in it, is because they want you to send the controller back to them so that they can program it to give, I think it's another kilowatt or two of power. That's all going to be resolved here very, very soon with the 6.7 kit. I just hope we can keep this sweet throttle control. I absolutely love this. And just like that, we're back. So what are my thoughts on the big wheel kit? I think that's probably what everybody wants to know at this point. I like it. Definitely more of an off-road tire, which makes sense. With those size tires that originally came on it, you can kind of get away with street, off-road, anything. These definitely are better suited for off-road, meaning they have such a high point in the center of them. The bike just, it's crazy. You could probably let some air out, but the graphics kit, I like that as well. I think that was a good purchase. 109 bucks, I think it was. Like I said before, I'm probably going to remove that. Here's the issue though. Before we go, I want to take you guys for a quick ride on this bike. Now, I'm not going to GPS it or anything. I just want to show you the difference. And this is a stock RTR with Supermotos. So the difference in the programming is actually a lot. See, this bike runs way better. It still doesn't stand up, but way quicker. What are these little rugrats doing? What y'all doing? Playing.
Are you recording?
Yep.
Right now?
I am. You want to be on YouTube?
Yeah.
Wave. Yep. Tell them to subscribe. There we go. All right. So this bike feels completely different with Supermotos, and I love it. I'm here for it. You can lean this thing into the corners. Oh, it's so good. So good. It's just, whew, man, this is the move right here. So let's back up and talk about this for a second. Here's my thoughts here. You want to know the perfect RTR? The RTR with the Supermotos is absolutely money. That is money. But obviously it's not that capable off-road. So I'm thinking the combination here is going to be big wheel kit on the RTR, which is going to kill some power. So it's not going to be as fun, right? But then to get that back, 6.7 kit, maybe even with a stock battery should be it, or mod motor. So just a high torque mod motor, because this power delivery is near perfect. Yes, it could use a touch more, but not a lot. The problem with my bike there again being the RTR Lite with the 72 volt battery, the controller not being programmed, these tires are killing it, but it's still fun. So anyway, that's my take. There's a size comparison between the two. They may not look that different here, but when you sit on them, there's definitely a height difference, obviously, with the tires. Also, before I go, I'm going to leave you a little bit of footage of me installing the graphics kit. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'll catch you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.